My dear friends, life does not change through struggle, nor through long years of toil and striving. Life shifts in a moment, when one word, one sentence of truth, pierces the darkness of doubt and lights the path before you. I tell you today, there exists a single sentence, a divine command, that can rewire your life in just 24 hours. It is not imagination, it is not fantasy, it is law. When you grasp this truth, when you speak it and claim it as your own, the very forces of the universe rise to meet you. Doors you thought were closed will open, burdens you thought were heavy will lift, and paths you never dreamed of will appear at your feet. So I invite you, listen with your whole heart, for within these words lies the key to a swift and marvelous transformation. The power of a single thought cannot be measured by the eye, nor can it be weighed by the hand. Yet it is the very foundation upon which every life is built. You see, nothing in your outer world appears until it has first been conceived in the inner world of thought. Every great success, every radiant life, every manifestation of abundance began with one single sentence spoken in faith. It is not the multitude of thoughts that move mountains, but the one thought, the one sentence of truth, that is held firmly and spoken with conviction. That is the seed from which the harvest grows. Most people do not realize the tremendous authority carried by a single thought. They imagine that life is governed by chance, or by luck, or by endless effort. Yet they overlook the truth that life answers to the sentence they have chosen to believe. A man who believes he is powerless will find every door locked, though the key is in his hand. A woman who believes she is unworthy will walk past blessings meant for her, unable to receive them, because her thought has barred the way. But one sentence, one clear declaration of truth, spoken with faith, can shatter the chains of years in an instant. Consider this: your mind is like a fertile garden. Each sentence you speak is a seed planted into the soil. Many sow weeds of doubt and fear, then wonder why thorns grow in their path. Others speak carelessly of lack, failure, and misfortune, and are puzzled when those very conditions multiply in their lives. But when you choose one sentence of truth, one sentence of power, and plant it with intention, the soil of your subconscious cannot resist it. It begins to grow silently, invisibly at first, but soon it pushes through into the light and transforms your outer experience. You may ask, how can a single thought hold such power? It is because thought is creative energy, and every sentence you repeat is a decree sent out into the universe. The universe does not argue. It does not resist, it simply mirrors what you declare. If you say, I am defeated, life will echo defeat. If you say, I walk in victory, life must rearrange itself to bring you the experiences of victory. Within 24 hours you can begin to see the signs. A new opportunity, a sudden shift in circumstance, a word of encouragement spoken by another. All these are the fruits of a single sentence spoken with conviction. Do not underestimate the swiftness of truth. Many believe change must be slow, that years of struggle must precede breakthrough. But the laws of life are not bound by time. The moment you choose to hold a sentence of truth and release all contrary thoughts, a current begins to move on your behalf. It is as though a great river, long dammed by fear and doubt, is suddenly released. The waters rush forward, carrying away obstacles, nourishing the dry places of your life, and bringing refreshment to every part of your being. The beauty of this power lies in its simplicity. You do not need to memorize endless affirmations, nor recite long prayers filled with fear. One clear sentence, aligned with truth, carries more force than 1,000 scattered words. For example, when one declares, everything I need flows to me now, that sentence, spoken in faith, sends out a command to every part of life. Resources begin to move, people are guided to you, circumstances shift, and suddenly what was lacking is supplied. That is the authority of a single thought, a single sentence chosen with wisdom. It is not enough, however, to merely speak the words with the lips while the heart is filled with doubt. The sentence must be spoken with feeling, with a sense that it is already true. For thought clothed in emotion is the most potent form of creation. When you declare, I am free, I am guided, I am supplied, and you feel the joy of freedom, the peace of guidance, the security of supply, then you have impressed that truth upon the subconscious, and the subconscious never fails to bring it forth. I have seen lives transformed in a single day by this principle. Someone bound in fear declared, "I walk in perfect faith," and within hours courage arose where there had been trembling. Another who lived under the shadow of lack declared, "I live in abundance now," and almost immediately, opportunities appeared and provision flowed. Why? Because the sentence spoken in faith aligned them with the eternal law of supply, which was waiting all along for their recognition. The question is not whether the law works, but whether you are willing to work with the law. Every time you choose a sentence of truth, you write a new destiny. Every time you cling to doubt and fear, you repeat the old story. The power lies not in the outer world, but in the inner word. And this choice is always yours. So I say to you, choose carefully the sentence you will allow to govern your life. Do not give power to words of defeat, to thoughts of limitation, or to sentences of fear. For as surely as you speak them, they will return to you. Instead, choose the one sentence that uplifts, that frees, that aligns you with the infinite good already prepared for you. Hold it, believe it, speak it, and allow it to take root. You do not need to know how it will happen. You only need to know that it will happen, for the law cannot fail. One sentence can rewire your life in 24 hours, not because the world outside has suddenly changed, but because you have changed the thought within. And when the inner is transformed, the outer must follow. That is the law, and the law is always sure. So I leave you with this truth: your life is waiting upon your word. Every word you speak is a builder. With your sentences you are laying the foundation stones of your future, brick by brick, whether you are conscious of it or not. Life does not unfold by accident. It is shaped by the unseen architecture of the words you continually declare. These words become instructions to the subconscious mind, and the subconscious, like a faithful servant, obeys without question. It does not argue. It does not reason. It simply takes what you give it and brings it into form. If you tell it you are weak, it sets about arranging experiences to prove your weakness. If you tell it you are strong, it summons strength from within and without to support that truth. Many people imagine that words are light things, that they pass quickly and vanish into the air, but nothing could be further from the truth. Every word is a decree. Every sentence spoken with feeling is carved into the blueprint of your life. You may not see the lines being drawn, you may not hear the structure rising, but day by day your words are building the house you live in. And when the time comes to dwell in that house, you will either find it a mansion filled with light or a prison built from your own careless speech. It is astonishing how often people sabotage their own destiny by repeating words of lack, defeat, and limitation. They say, "Nothing ever works out for me. I never have enough. I am always overlooked." And then they wonder why those conditions appear again and again. It is because the subconscious, hearing these sentences, accepts them as orders and begins to create accordingly. But when one awakens to the truth, when one realizes the immense creative power of words, then one begins to choose differently. One begins to say, "Life works for me. I am always supplied. I am divinely guided and favored." And as surely as night follows day, the outer world begins to rearrange itself to match the new inner command. The words you speak are not only instructions to your own mind, they are vibrations that move outward, impressing themselves upon people, circumstances, and conditions. Words carry an energy, and that energy attracts its own kind. Speak words of harmony, and harmony finds you. Speak words of discord, and discord answers. Speak words of faith, and opportunities spring up where there was once only barrenness. You cannot speak of abundance sincerely and continue to live in poverty, for the law of life must answer the vibration of your declaration. A sentence of truth is not merely a string of words, it is a living force. When you repeat it, it begins to shape your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. It creates a new rhythm within you, a new music to which your whole being begins to move. And as you move differently, you act differently. As you act differently, you attract differently. A new sentence spoken in faith becomes a new life lived in reality. This is why words are not to be used carelessly. Every idle sentence leaves its mark. Every careless declaration writes a line upon the blueprint. Consider how many people speak against themselves daily without even knowing it. They say, "I'm so tired. I can't manage this. I don't deserve more." Each time they repeat it, they are carving deeper grooves in the subconscious, and the subconscious responds by making those conditions real. Yet, in the very same way, one can reverse the entire process. One can begin to say, "I am strong. I manage all things with ease. I am worthy of every good gift." These new sentences plant a new pattern, and the subconscious, faithful as ever, begins to bring those experiences forward. You may think to yourself, can it truly be so simple? Can a sentence spoken with faith alter the course of my destiny? And I tell you, it is not only simple, it is certain. The complexity lies not in the law, but in the human resistance to it. For so long, people have repeated words of fear and limitation that they find it difficult to change. Yet the moment you begin to change your words, you begin to change your life. You do not need to know how it will unfold. You only need to trust that the sentence you speak with faith is writing a new chapter in your book of life. The subconscious is a perfect mirror. It reflects without question. If you give it the sentence, "I am always struggling," it reflects struggle. If you give it the sentence, "I live in divine ease," it reflects ease. And once the subconscious accepts a truth, it will persist until the outer world matches it. This is why a new sentence repeated with faith is the most powerful tool you possess. You are giving the subconscious new instructions, and it must obey. Do not let the words of others dictate your own blueprint. Many are quick to speak fear, to speak defeat, to tell you what cannot be done. But you are the architect of your own life. You alone hold the pen that writes upon the subconscious. If you allow the sentences of others to rule your thought, you surrender your authority. But if you choose your own sentence of truth and hold to it, no outside word can overthrow it. The law will always honor the word spoken with faith, for it recognizes no authority greater than your own declaration. Think of it this way: every time you speak a sentence of truth, you are chiseling a new design into the invisible. And when the design is complete, the invisible becomes visible. The mansion of your desires, the path of your destiny, the provision you need, the love you seek, all begin as a sentence spoken, repeated, and believed. The words are the lines, the sentences are the structure, and life itself is the finished building. So let me remind you, words are never lost. They are builders, and they are gatherers. They are seeds, and they are harvests. If you wish to know what tomorrow holds, listen to the sentences you are speaking today. And if you wish to change tomorrow, choose a new sentence today, for the blueprint of your destiny is being written with every word you release. And so I tell you this: speak only the words that you desire to see made flesh. For your sentences are the architecture of your life. The moment you speak a sentence of truth and hold it in faith, a change begins that is both immediate and undeniable. Though the world may look the same to the physical eye, the energy surrounding you has already shifted. The vibration of your thought has altered, and because like attracts like, new conditions must now be drawn to meet it. This shift is not something you need to manufacture with effort, nor is it something you must push into being. It happens the instant your word is spoken with conviction. In that moment, the atmosphere of your life is transformed. You may not recognize the change at first, for the invisible always precedes the visible. Yet, within hours, subtle signs begin to appear. Someone speaks a word of encouragement when you least expect it. A situation that felt heavy suddenly feels lighter. A door that seemed firmly shut begins to open a little, as if moved by an unseen hand. These are not coincidences, but the swift response of life to the sentence you have chosen. Just as a seed planted in the ground begins to push through the soil before it is seen, so too does your new word begin to push through into your experience. This is the wonder of the 24-hour energy shift. Life is not slow to respond, it is quick, for it is always listening for the instructions you give it. If you declare defeat, life hastens to prove it. If you declare victory, life rearranges itself to honor your decree. The law is impartial, responding to the vibration you set in motion. And when you align with truth, the response is swift, because truth carries the highest vibration, and nothing can resist it. The change you feel within yourself is the first evidence of this shift. A new sentence spoken in faith brings peace where there was once unrest. It brings confidence where there was once doubt. It brings light where there was once shadow. That inner transformation is the signal that the outer transformation is already underway. For as within, so without. You cannot feel different within and continue to draw the same conditions without. The energy you hold attracts the circumstances you live, and when the energy changes, the conditions must follow. Some will say, but how can life respond so quickly? Surely great changes take time. Yet this is the deception of appearances. The truth is that life responds instantly, though it may take a short while for the evidence to come into full view. Think of a seed planted in the soil. The moment it is planted, the process of growth has begun, though the eye may see only bare ground. So it is with your sentence of truth. From the moment it is spoken, unseen forces are set in motion. Opportunities are being prepared, people are being positioned, circumstances are being aligned. And within a day, you begin to glimpse the first green shoots of change breaking through the surface. One sentence spoken in faith can alter the course of a conversation, the mood of a room, the direction of a decision. It can turn rejection into acceptance, delay into progress, fear into courage. And because you do not live in isolation, but are connected to a greater flow, the energy shift within you begins to influence all who come into contact with you. Without speaking a word, people sense the change in you. They treat you differently. They respond to you differently, because the vibration you carry has changed. The outer is simply mirroring the inner. If you were to watch carefully after speaking your sentence of truth, you would notice how swiftly life begins to echo it. You declare abundance, and suddenly you notice opportunities where before you saw none. You declare peace, and conversations that once troubled you now pass by without disturbance. You declare guidance, and before long someone crosses your path with the exact information or support you needed. These things do not happen by chance, they happen because your new vibration has summoned them. This is why you must watch your words so carefully, for the shift occurs whether you choose it consciously or not. If you speak fear, you feel fear, and life brings fearful situations. If you speak faith, you feel faith, and life brings faithful answers. The law never pauses, never sleeps, never forgets. It is always creating, always reflecting. Therefore, every sentence you speak is like a stone cast into a pond, sending ripples outward in all directions. And within 24 hours, those ripples return to you in visible form. The energy shift is not bound by distance or limitation. A word spoken in one place can alter conditions in another. You may declare healing in the quiet of your room, and hear news of recovery from someone far away. You may declare provision in your solitude, and find that supply has moved through channels you could never have predicted. The energy is not limited to your small circle. It moves through the great web of life, touching all that is connected to you, bringing into manifestation the truth you have declared. This is why faith is so essential. Without faith, one speaks the sentence but immediately doubts, pulling back the very power that was set in motion. But with faith, one speaks once and allows the law to do its perfect work. Faith does not demand proof, because faith knows that the proof will come. Faith does not strain, because faith trusts the process. Faith rests, knowing that the energy has already shifted, and that what is unseen will soon become seen. You must remember, the outer world is only a reflection. It is not the cause but the effect. The cause is always the thought, the word, the sentence you hold within. When you change the cause, the effect cannot remain the same. It must alter to match the new vibration. And so, the 24-hour shift is not a miracle in the sense of breaking natural law. It is the natural law itself at work, swift, precise, unfailing. If you desire to prove this for yourself, you need not wait years. Choose your sentence of truth, speak it with conviction, and watch the day that follows. Watch how small changes begin to appear, how doors seem lighter to push, how burdens feel less heavy, how hope rises where there was none before. These are the signs of the new energy at work. And if you persist, repeating your sentence with faith, those small signs grow into great changes, until your whole life reflects the truth you have declared. There is nothing mysterious about this, except that most overlook it. They dismiss the power of a single thought, a single sentence, because it seems too simple. Yet simplicity is the mark of truth. Life is not complicated. It is we who make it so by resisting the law instead of aligning with it. The law is simple: what you decree, you attract. What you speak in faith, you experience. And because energy responds swiftly, you need not wait long to see the first results. So I tell you, the moment you declare your sentence of truth, your energy changes, and life begins to change with it. A single sentence spoken in faith begins the transformation, but repetition is what builds it into the structure of your destiny. One day of truth plants the seed, but each day of continued repetition waters that seed until it takes root so deeply that nothing can uproot it. At first, the sentence may feel like a visitor, something new and unfamiliar in your mind. You may even feel resistance, as old thoughts of fear and doubt rise up to argue against it. But with each repetition, the sentence grows stronger, more natural, more established, until it becomes the very foundation of your thought life. This is how a sentence becomes a belief. A belief is nothing more than a thought repeated so often that it has sunk into the subconscious and taken its place as law. Many of the beliefs people carry are not their own, but were handed to them by others. Words spoken in childhood, words of limitation passed down through generations, words of fear repeated until they became truth in the mind. Yet just as those sentences once shaped a life of limitation, so can new sentences of truth create a life of freedom. What has been written can always be rewritten. And the tool by which you rewrite is repetition. Repetition is not struggle, nor is it force. It is simply persistence, the steady choosing of the same sentence again and again, until it is no longer something you practice, but something you live. Think of how a song becomes familiar after hearing it many times. At first it is only sound, then it becomes melody, and soon without effort you know every word. So it is with the sentence of truth. At first it feels like words on your lips, then it becomes a rhythm in your heart, and finally it becomes the song of your life. This is why you must be faithful in your repetition, even when you do not yet see the full result. The harvest does not appear the day after the seed is planted, yet the wise farmer continues to water, to tend, to trust the process. So must you with your sentence of truth. You do not stop because the outer has not yet caught up. You continue because you know that the law is sure, and that what you declare with persistence must become flesh. Each time you repeat your sentence, you are engraving it deeper into the subconscious. And once the subconscious accepts it as true, it begins to direct your actions, your choices, your responses, all without effort. It influences what you notice, what you attract, and what you allow. Suddenly, you find yourself drawn to opportunities that align with your new truth. You make decisions with confidence you did not know you had. You release situations that once held you captive because they no longer fit the pattern of your belief. The sentence has become part of you, and because it is part of you, it reflects in every part of your life. Consider the power of a single phrase, spoken faithfully over time. I am divinely guided. At first, you may speak it with doubt, not fully believing. But as you repeat it, you begin to feel its reality. You start to notice the gentle nudges, the inner guidance that was always there but often ignored. You begin to act upon that guidance, and it leads you to places of blessing. After some time, you no longer question whether you are guided, you know it. It has become your reality. The same is true of any truth you choose to repeat. Whether it is peace, abundance, love, or strength, the repetition of your sentence impresses it so firmly upon the subconscious that the outer world has no choice but to conform. This is why the careless repetition of negative words is so destructive. The more often you say, I can't, the more firmly that belief becomes your law. The more you declare, "I never have enough," the more your subconscious works to prove it. It is not that life denies you, it is that you have denied yourself through repetition of limitation. Yet the moment you change your sentence, the moment you begin to repeat words of faith instead of fear, the process reverses. What was once a cycle of lack becomes a cycle of supply. What was once a cycle of defeat becomes a cycle of victory. You must remember that every repetition is either building you up or breaking you down. There is no neutral. Every word is a stone placed in the structure of your life, and the structure rises day by day. When you speak your sentence of truth faithfully, you are laying strong stones, steady stones, stones that will hold the weight of your dreams. The more you repeat, the stronger the structure becomes, until nothing can shake it. It is not necessary to speak many sentences. One strong sentence, chosen with wisdom and repeated with faith, carries enough power to transform a life. It is better to declare one truth 1,000 times than to scatter 1,000 truths without focus. Choose the one that resonates most deeply with your need, the one that answers your heart's call, and hold to it. Speak it when you wake in the morning. Speak it as you go about your day. Speak it before you sleep. Let it become the breath of your thought, the song of your spirit. Soon it will cease to be something you are trying to believe and will become something you simply know. There will be moments when the outer world seems to contradict your sentence. In those moments, repetition is most powerful. Do not give in to appearances. Appearances are only the shadows of old thoughts passing away. Continue to declare your sentence of truth, and the appearances will change. They have no strength of their own. They are only the residue of what once was. The new word you repeat is the force creating what is to come. Repetition also trains the imagination, for each time you speak your sentence, you begin to picture it as reality. Words and images work together, impressing the subconscious more deeply than either could alone. When you declare, "I walk in abundance," and see yourself supplied, you are engraving that truth upon your inner being. And once engraved, it must be expressed. This is the great secret, that destiny is not shaped in the grand moments of life, but in the quiet repetitions of everyday thought. The world may not hear the sentences you speak in silence, but life hears, and life obeys. Each repetition is a stroke of the pen upon the invisible script of your future. Write carefully, write faithfully, write truth upon truth, until the page of your life reflects the masterpiece you were created to live. One sentence can plant the seed. One day of faith can set the energy in motion, but repetition is what builds the harvest, what shapes the destiny, what turns a word into a world. And so I say, choose your sentence, hold it, repeat it, and watch as it becomes the very fabric of your life. Your word repeated in faith becomes your reality,